This last year for me has been a year of roguelikes, playing games like Slay the Spire, Rogue Legacy, and Enter the Gungeon, and so many more, all of which, while being in the roguelike genre, bring something new and exciting to the table. So when I came across Peglin, I was very excited to pick up another one that I hadn't tried yet and that had a very interesting mechanic that I'd never seen before. But before we get too into it, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and the bell so you never miss a video. There are many games in the roguelike genre, with games like Tainted Grail and Inscription having a fun and unique card-based combat mechanics, while also telling an interesting and compelling story, with many characters you can meet along the way who will aid in said storytelling, while games like Rogue Legacy and Enter the Gungeon have difficult yet engaging enemies and boss fights. All these games are fun in their own way, and while might not appeal to everyone, in my opinion, are some of the best we've seen in the genre. However, with all the games mentioned so far, I think it's important to say that for all the content available in these games, the price points are rather reasonable. For example, I picked up Tainted Grail on Steam during a sale for around £10, and have currently got just over 15 hours of play out of it, while barely scratching the surface of content that's actually in the game. Even if you were to buy it for full retail price, the game is still only £15, which is quite reasonable. Now with that in mind, I want to talk about one of the worst points about Peglin, which is the cost. Now while it is true that Peglin is the same price as Tainted Grail, it also has substantially less content, as I was able to mostly complete the game in less than an hour and a half. It is important to remember the game is in early access, and we may have a lot more exciting content coming up and planned that the developers are looking to put into it. And although the game is short, there are a lot of things that make playing it a fun and enjoyable experience. Combat works by firing one of many different stones you get at pegs, with each peg hit dealing increasing damage to the enemies facing you that level. At the moment there are 5 different bosses available to fight, with 2 different bosses on each floor, apart from the last. In the forest you can come across either the mole boss, which hides behind a high hit point tree that you need to destroy in order to hit it with your stones, or the slime boss, which slowly moves towards the player until it's on top of you, at which point it pulls you inside its body and does damage every turn. I found both these bosses to be fun, but I never found them to be much of a challenge, which is a shame, as if you compare this style of roguelike progression to a similar game, say Slay the Spire, where bosses are difficult on every stage. It just feels like the game is a little bit too easy at the moment, although I'm sure that will change in time to come. I am happy to say though that the final boss, the animated ruins, was at the level of difficulty I would expect at that point in the game. While discussing the bosses, the relics you can get from defeating said bosses are also either really good or run-ending, which is kind of a problem. An example of this would be the Wand of Skulltimate Power. It's a pretty cool name, but that's besides the point. When you pick this item up, your attacks deal 2 times damage, but you take 1 damage for every 3 pegs you hit. There isn't really any way to survive this amount of damage taken by the player. My personal favourite relic that I came across though was the Sapper Sack. This upgrades the bombs on each field and allows you to do more damage with the bombs when they explode. But on the downside you do take damage. From your own bombs. I found this to be quite a well-balanced mechanic, as I never took more than 20 damage from my bombs, meaning that at the end of every level I could just take the heal option, which was 20% of my health, which was 20 health, and I would be back to full. The problem at the moment is that some of these relics are balanced quite well and others aren't, and the ones that aren't tend to be the ones that will literally end your run, which isn't very fun. I do think this style of combat for a roguelike is very good, and I look forward to seeing how when the game is fully released, they've implemented this and changed some of the relics and maybe, made some of the combat just generally better. But at the moment, it's just not quite there. I am excited to see what Red Nexus Games does with Peglin, and I hope that when the game is fully released, there's a lot more content and possible builds to try. Maybe with the choice of a few different playable characters, similar to Slay the Spire and Enter the Gungeon, each having different abilities, maybe starting with different stones, or relics that are specific to each individual character, allowing you to do different things. I would also like to see a wider range of bosses, with more challenging mechanics. With everything I've said, I do want to say that this game is very fun. and if it wasn't for the current price point, I would 100% recommend this game. The Peggle style combat is really interesting and very enjoyable. However, with the current lack of content, I can't do that. I'd say in conclusion, this is a very fun game with an extremely fun concept, and I hope that there's a lot more content to come, but with the current content available, I can't recommend this for £15. If you see it on sale, 100% pick it up as it is very fun to play, and you will not regret picking this up and enjoying the time spent. With any luck, when the game is fully released, I'll be able to revisit it, and I hope that at that point I can recommend this wholeheartedly to everyone watching. Thank you very much for watching, and please leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be streaming this game in the coming weeks on the channel, so if you want to discuss my thoughts so far, please drop by. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash the like if you want more content like this. Hope to see you in the next one.